Thanks, as always, to Casey for holding her down on halftime. We are back here on In Game Live. Dane Martinez and George Kurtz here as the Los Angeles Chargers get the ball to start the second half. They are holding a 24-6 lead. This is a huge drive right here, George, because, they get the field goal to end the first half. If they put up any more points here, this one is pretty much out of reach. If somehow Cincinnati can get a 3 and out, they can get the ball back. If they go down and score, then maybe we have something to talk about here in the second half. And it's going to be 3rd and long for the Chargers. They got J.K. Dobbins. And now, listen, they got off the field. It is 4th and 8. This is going to be a 3 and out for the Cincinnati Bengals defense, George. So, listen, Cincy is going to get the ball back. They truly need to do something here with this first drive of the second half to keep some of our Cincinnati receiving props, Joe Burrow props, live. They did the first thing they needed to do, George. They got a 3 and out. So that kind of, ends the idea of the double up as Justin Herbert tried to hit Quentin Johnson deep down the right sideline on 3rd and long. The Bengals get off the field. That's at least job one here if they want to stay in this game.
Yeah, something else to keep in notice there. They took a deep shot. Right, yeah. They took a deep shot, so they're not mailing it in, right? They're trying to score more points. Maybe Harbaugh's way of saying, "Hey, we think Cincinnati can score some points here." It's not out of the normal possibility here. I'm still not going back in. All right, I think I'm about done with the Bengals here. I got to see more. For me to go back in on any Bengal prop, I need to see them do something. The last couple of drives have been ugly here. They keep going out. They're getting sacked. It makes it a lot easier with defense when they know, hey, you're taking 3, 5, 7-step jaw drops. We're coming after you. We know you're not going to run the ball. And we don't care if you do run the ball, by the way. We'll giving you 6, 7 yards. I don't care. Right? They don't care. So they got to throw the ball here. At this point, I just want to hit a couple of props. All right? Just hit a couple of props here. Let's see over, which I think is still also in play here. We only need 19 points there to hit the pregame over. It doesn't help any when Jamar Chase drops passes. It really doesn't.
No, it certainly doesn't. Jamar Chase is one of the guys that we still need to get about another 50 yards or more because we double tapped that one. I know you're saying you're not into any of the props here. What about this? Can I interest you in one? It won't take a lot for it to hit. Chase Brown already has 29 rushing yards. They're hanging 45.5. We all believe that this is going to be 80-90% Cincinnati throwing the ball the rest of the time here. What about them going under on the rushing prop for the running back Chase Brown? Because, they're going to be throwing. He's not going to have many carries as it looks like another incomplete pass to Jamar Chase here on 2nd down. What about going under on the Cincinnati running back, George?
This is the hell to the no. All right, I'm about done with the Bengals here. This is just ugly now. What, do you spike the ball to the ground here? Well, I don't know what this was. I don't know why. Listen, I think the Bengals are lost right about now. Sooner or later, they're going to mail it in. All right, and we're getting close to that point here. If they go 3 and out again, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what you want me to hope for here. Everything we're seeing here says the Bengals are done. They're not doing it. They're not hitting any big plays. They're not protecting Burrow here. There's no consistency here. It's 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out here. I need to see something from this team, and we're not seeing it. We're just not seeing anything. Sooner or later, I have to believe what my eyes are telling me. And we're not even paying attention to this game. We're doing the show here, so we're not really seeing anything. It's ugly right now for the Bengals ever since the second field goal. There's just nothing going their way.
No, absolutely. It is another 3 and out for the Cincinnati Bengals. Incomplete. This one was intended for your boy Gesicki, but it didn't happen. Gesicki fell down, complaining for a flag. A lot of people on the Cincinnati sideline giving the flag motion, but there is no flag to be had. So a 3 and out for Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals, 3 and out for the Chargers on the other side. Let me ask you this. One way to potentially play it, you're saying you're seeing absolutely nothing from the Cincinnati Bengals. We all think now at this point that the Los Angeles Chargers are going to try to pack it in. I'm waiting for a live total. Maybe this is time to go under on a live total. If you think that Cincy is not able to do anything and you think the Chargers are only running the ball, right? Maybe there's a live total to go under, and we think that there's not going to be much scoring left in this one potentially. I see 53.5 as a live total. We've got 30 points on the board. Are there 2 more touchdowns in this game, George?
Cincinnati says a great punt, and they had an ineligible man downfield. How do you have that on a punt? I mean, for the love of God, what is going on here? I don't mind the under. All right, now I'm on the over. So if I take I'm going to hope for a middle here between 4 points. I would need 50, 51, 52, 53. Right. I'm not going to do that. Like I said, at this point, I'm almost in lick my wounds mode here. Okay, it's not going to happen to me tonight. I'm going to lose more than I won here. It was a decent day. Hockey started off well, then hockey's not going really well right now either, with the Capitals winning here. So I'm sort of in lick my wounds mode here. I want to see now. I need to see stuff now before I start blindly betting stuff again. I need to see, are the Chargers going to I don't know. No, they're not going to pack it. But are they going to run the ball now? Are they going to take? Is now when they're going to take the air out of the ball? Maybe the way to look at it would be to take some rushing props. If we're going to take the air out of the ball, maybe we look at Dobbins, we look at Edwards, whichever guy we think is going to be the guy, and look see if they're going to take their overs. One thing I talked about earlier, and I want to see what the new number
Chargers receivers. What about unders on the Chargers receivers? If we think that same kind of park the bus, take the air out of the ball, right? And I understand, George, you're talking about, because you already have your card established, right? You're already betting, and so you're not going to add any more. But there are people out here that are watching in-game live that haven't made all of these bets, right? Or hopping in right now. So if you had a clean slate, would you take the under? I guess that's the real way I'm asking you the question. Now, I understand you already have positions, so it would be this middle and a narrow middle. But if you didn't have anything on the game at this point, then what about thinking the idea of taking the air out of the balloon, parking the bus, that sort of thing, and then going under on
look
this
at the numbers. Every number for a Charger pass receiver is one catch.
Right.
14 yards for Quentin Johnson. 9 for Josh Palmer.
Right.
14 for Will Disley. You can't take unders on that. It's one reception. They hit the over. On a regular. No, I can't take any unders there either. Dobbins needs really to catch the ball and just fall down. He'll get his over. So
Herbert,
no, I'm not. I can't take any unders there.
Herbert would need 7 completions. He has 11. They're hanging 17 and a half. Herbert has 185 passing yards. Well, what about this one, though? Herbert has 185 passing yards. They're hanging 267 and a half, which is basically 83 yards? 83 yards? I don't know that he's going to throw for 83 more yards. I understand individually, like you're talking about, like it's only 10 here, 15 here, 3 here. But, there is the idea that, Herbert does not throw, more than, say, 10 passes the rest of this game. And if you look at the Herbert in totality, that may be a way to do it. I understand, George, that you are not doing it because you're already in lick your wounds mode, like you said. But for someone who's just hopping in here on the grid, trying to make a little bit of bank here to end their Sunday night football and doesn't have something already on the game, what about that one? Will Herbert actually keep throwing enough for another 100 or so yards in this game?
This has nothing to do with lick my wounds mode. All right. The numbers aren't there. It's 83 yards. It's 2 quarters of play. I mean, yeah, let's just say for giggles, he only throws 10 more passes. He'll complete 7 of them, maybe 8. He doesn't need much yards to get that number. We all know the Bengals secondary is bad. So no, I still think he actually might go over. It's not a bet I would take either way. I wouldn't take the over, wouldn't take the under. It has nothing to do with lick my wounds. The numbers aren't there. There's nothing benefiting us there. It would be a true gamble. There's something I can tell you there would tell you, oh, no, they should do this. The Bengals defense is so bad, he can get this with just a couple of passes. Someone can break free. Even on that last drive where he threw the ball deep. Listen, Johnson was open. All right, the perfect pass would have gotten the ball there, and they went for it. So, no, I wouldn't take that. I think if you're looking to make in-game bets, it probably still is with the Bengals. The problem is they look like crap. Because we know they're going to have to throw the ball. But at this point, I mean, what are we, 24-6? And the Chargers scored another touchdown. We're at 31-6. Sooner or later, Burrow's not playing anymore. Now, he's not going to finish the game here. Once they're down 25, 20, 30 points, it doesn't make any sense. So that's my biggest worry as well here. I don't think Burrow finishes this game unless they score and score shortly.
All right, so we'll see. We are on the precipice of complete garbage time. The Chargers starting their drive here across the 40, and we'll see if they get to the other side of the field. We'll see if they put more points on the board. I think you're right. We will see. We could be on the precipice. I think Burrow's going to play the rest of the game, but we'll find out here. That may be the only drama left on In-Game Live Sunday Night Football with the Chargers and the Bengals, all Chargers.
sharpest football contest show in the land. The Las Vegas Football Contest Show focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
We live in a society right now where everybody's a snowflake, everybody's a cupcake, and everybody thinks that nothing is fair. Everything is like, it's not fair. We should have a better chance. We need more. You know what? I'm old enough to remember when you needed to have a perfect goddamn record to win a college football championship. That's the way it was. 11-1, too bad.
Sports Rage tonight, only on Sports Grid.
Grandma Bear, who owns the football team, probably comes in, gives a little, oh, man, you're such a good little boy out there. Congratulations, the way you coach this football team. I'm never going to fire you.
Totally, I missed you pinching your own cheek. As I was looking down and did not know we were getting.
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there with that guy named Ben. Like, that's what your grandma would do to you when you go see her on Thanksgiving or Christmas,
The Early Line, only on Sports Grid.
Together, both Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson had huge nights. Aaron Rodgers loves the two big targets, and he says if this is going to happen, going to be very tough on the defense to decide who they want to go after.
Adams and this kid Wilson, I won't deny what they can do, but nobody else does jack.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on Sports Grid.
We're back on In-Game Live, Sunday Night Football style. Dane Martinez and George Kurtz here. We've got a third and medium for the Chargers. They are on the precipice of making this a complete blowout, but it is now fourth down. They're on the Cincinnati 35-yard line. That makes it a 52, 53-yard field goal attempt. You're kind of in that no man's land, George. I know you're ahead of me on this one. A field goal makes it 21 points and a three-touchdown lead. I wonder if they go for this here. The data would suggest they should go for it. Juggling down the left sideline. They took a shot down the field there to Quentin Johnson on the left side. They are still going for the jugular here. Joe Burrow with his helmet still on. He's going to get at least one more crack at this one. What do you do here? Do you go for it on fourth and medium here when you are in makeable field goal range to make this a 21-point game?
Nah, you said it. Make it a 21-point game. It's 4th and 6. The odds are against you making it here. Dicker can hit a 50-plus yard. Every kicker can hit a 50-yarder nowadays, and he does hit it, by the way. So it's good. They make it a 21-point game. So it is what it is. I think they made the right choice here.
Yep, it is good. It is a 53-yard field goal from Cameron Dicker, the kicker, and we've got a 27-6 ball game here. Now, however, it's a 21-point game. Okay, there is still over 10 minutes left to go in the third quarter. I believe, George, that Cincinnati is still going to get the ball, 4 more times at least, right? In this one, they have to score on this drive, right? They absolutely must get 7 on this drive. But since he should get 4, maybe even 5 more drives left in this game, I know I'm kind of like trying to keep people involved, right? That's what we got to do on a 27-6 game. Burrow is going to get this shot at it. This is the opportunity for him to go down the field in a little bit of a dink and dunk. You know the Chargers are going to be given a little bit of a cushion. So for our receiving props right now, this is the time. If Cincinnati can score here, George, talk to me. Like, there's 10 minutes right now, 10 and a half minutes, okay? I know they have not done squadouche. Joe Burrow is only 12 of 20 for 111 yards. But humor me for a second here, George. Let's just say the Cincinnati Bengals go down the field and, with 5 minutes left in the third, it's 27-13. Then all of a sudden, we've got a little bit of something to continue to talk about. If they score, they haven't shown anything. You're absolutely right. You haven't seen it. You need to see it, right? But let's play, roses and rainbows and rose-colored glasses on this one. If they go down and score in 5 minutes or so, then maybe we've got a game, do we not? If they do in fact score and we pick it up and it's 27-13 with still 5 minutes left to go in the third, that's more within the realm of possibility, no?
Well, the way you're talking reminds me of a couple of sayings that certain people in my life like to say. The one I can repeat on air is, it's and buts with candies and nuts, right? Sure. Yep. And the other one I can't say, but it involves the king and queen as far as that saying goes there. Listen, I'm not banking on this. Once again, what have we seen from Cincinnati? I do think the Chargers will lay off some, right? They're not going to want to get the easy 7 points. They're not want to get somebody over their head. You know, so they'll play two deep zone for the most part
and
here.
Not great.
Certainly somebody over the part of over Jamar Chase so that he can't get past them here. And that theoretically there should be plenty open over the middle. The problem is they can't protect them either. Remember, Burrow's under pass pressure almost every play here, and it's not like the Chargers are worried about the run game. You want to run the ball for 6-7 yards, they don't care. That'll take up 30 seconds every time you do it. So
they'll take 8 yards out of Jamar Chase instead of the 60 over the top, right? So that actually, I think, opens it up for some of our receiving props, especially vis-a-vis some of these wide receivers, right? One thing I do know, even though we haven't seen it, is Jamar Chase is always dangerous for a 60, 70-yard bomb, and that would be the thing that the Chargers don't want, right? So they are going to, I think, put a little bit of cushion here for Jamar Chase. Now, to your point, they haven't been able to protect Burrow. Chase has dropped a couple of balls, but I do think we're going to be giving guys cushion. We're going to be having them stay in front of us, and that helps some of the underneath options for Cincinnati. I know you have the Gesicki receiving prop. We talked about Jamar Chase, right? So I do think that profile's a little bit better as they decide to somehow run the ball on first down for Chase Brown. But what do you think? I think the play here for the Chargers to give cushion, which could, the Chargers want a 7-minute drive. They don't want the threat of Jamar Chase, which always exists, to hit you over the top. Remember what Jamar Chase did on Thursday Night Football, right? So I think that profile's a little bit better for us, although, as I say that, they can't convert on second down, and it's third and medium, so we'll see if they can even get a first down, even in this context.
Yeah, that looked like he had the tight end 81 there.
Burton.
I don't know if the tight end lost the ball in the lights, the air, whatever, but that looked like it had a pretty good chance of being completed, right? That ball's there, and it looks like it's there. Maybe let me overthrown by a yard or so there. That would have been a nice big play here. And now, once again, we have to hope they convert this. If they don't convert this, we're 3 and out again. I mean, it's just over and over. It's going to kill all our bets if they can't convert any first downs here, including my pass attempt bet, because they're not going to get that either.
Well,
and
I think
they're going to complete this one either way. This one is either
pass attempts. I mean, Burrow's already at 21. We're going to continue to be throwing the ball here, I think, at least.
But 3 and outs. 3 and outs.
You're right, but at least 3 and outs stop the clock. And 3 and outs stop the clock and give you a little bit more here.
You are definitely Mr. Brightside here.
I am, but we got a penalty, it looks like here. They're going to call it a catch.
They called it a catch. They called it a catch for T. We want that. We want the catch for T. We're on that.
We'd rather the yards via the reception than via the penalty. So listen, that puts us, it's a 23-yard gain for T. Higgins. That gives T. Higgins 57 yards on the day. Remember, we were looking at T. Higgins at 70. So he is now within one catch of being in. The Cincinnati Bengals are on the Chargers side of the field. Listen, I'm telling you, George, 9.5 minutes, and here's a nice run. Chase Brown, 27-yard gain. They are in the red zone right here with 9.5 minutes left to go. They are on the Chargers 16-yard line with 9.5 minutes left to go here after Chase Brown rips off a run over the left tackle and down the left sideline. If I know roses, rainbows, all that stuff, if they score in the next couple of minutes to make it a 2-score game, we've got a little bit more to talk about, George. And even you would have to admit that. I'm not saying they're going to do it. We'll see where it stands when we come back on the other side of the break here. George rolls his eyes, because that doesn't look good for me. We'll find out when we come back on In Game Live.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
We live in a society right now where everybody's a snowflake, everybody's a cupcake, and everybody thinks that nothing is fair. Everything is like, it's not fair. We should have a better chance. We need more. You know what? I'm old enough to remember when you needed to have a perfect goddamn record to win a college football championship. That's the way it was. 11-1, too bad.
Sports Rage tonight, only on Sports Grid.
Grandma Bear, who owns the football team, probably comes in, gives a little, oh, man, you're such a good little boy out there. Congratulations, the way you coach this football team. I'm never going to fire you.
Totally, I missed you pinching your own cheek as I was
that's what your
looking down
grandma
and did
does,
not
right?
know we were getting.
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there with that guy named Ben. Like, that's what your grandma would do to you when you go see her on Thanksgiving or Christmas,
The Early Line, only on Sports Grid.
Together, both Davante Adams and Garrett Wilson had huge nights. Aaron Rodgers loves the two big targets, and he says if this is going to happen, going to be very tough on the defense to decide who they want to go after.
Adams and this kid Wilson, I won't deny what they can do, but nobody else does jack.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on Sports Grid.
Welcome back in here, in-game live, Sunday Night Football style. Dane Martinez and George Kurtz. Hey, George, a lot of end zone targets for T. Higgins in this drive. I've got 2nd and goal from about the 5-yard line. We had some laundry on the field, so they got a fresh set of downs. Then Chase Brown gets stuffed. But we now have, 2nd and goal from the 5. Joe Burrow with the potential here to throw a pass. There is still a ton of time here in the third quarter. We're at about 7.5 minutes left to go. The Cincinnati Bengals will have 3 chances to throw this ball into the end zone. We'll see what happens here. I know that George is rolling his eyes. He is inconceivable what he is seeing. Look at them all laying back, swaying around. He is not pleased with whatever he saw on the second down here. What do we got here, George? I'm over
it's
here.
Not even penalties, and they're going backwards.
It's not a penalty. What, they get sacked?
Burrow actually lateraled the ball, and no, he lateraled the ball and didn't go. He was under pressure again.
Yeah.
The good news is they'll have to go for it. They're not going to kick any field goals anymore, right? They got to go for it on 4th down.
So we got 2 more.
Hey, listen, I don't. When it comes to coaches, I don't trust anybody anymore. He might just kick the field goal.
No,
but I got to assume they're
going
to
go for it. It's a 21-point game in the third quarter. This is 2 shots into the end zone here. They
throw the ball short. What are you doing?
They hit Chase Brown underneath. So we now have 4th and goal from the 5-yard line. They're clearly going to go for it here. And listen, we'll see. We'll see. I think this is a huge play in the game. I've been trying to sell George on the fact that a touchdown here makes it viable with about 6 minutes left to go in the game. We've got 4th and goal from the 4-yard line. All I'm going to tell you is George is going to let me know real easy, real quick with his reaction to the 4th down play what happens here. And he's got this little wry smile on because he knows if they score that there is a universe here where we are still live on some of these props. On some of the props, we absolutely are. Because George is looking at it. We'll see. Ooh. I can't read his face. We're playing poker right now with George Kurtz here. Touchdown Bengals. Jamar Chase into the end zone here. We have a score from the Cincinnati Bengals. And now, George, we'll see. They'll probably get the extra point to make it a 14-point game, but Chase gets into the end zone. Here's what I don't like, George. I got to tell you something. Why are we doing some kind of celebration right now? This score gets you to within 14 points, and we have a Charger down. It looks like an injury on the Los Angeles Chargers as well, but they're going to kick the extra point here. We're going to be staring at 27-13. This is pretty much exactly what I said to you about 6 or 7 minutes ago, right? When this drive started. I literally said, if it is 27-13 with about 5 or 6 minutes left in the third quarter, then we have a game. And you were like, no, it's not. No, it's not. And you said because the Chargers would still have the ball. Let me rephrase the question. If Cincinnati gets the ball back and the Chargers do not score in this next drive, and we're talking about late third quarter down by 14 points, then, my friend, would you be willing to say we've got something to talk about in the fourth quarter?
Once again, you're playing the ifs and buts game.
I am.
Listen,
yeah,
for all you know, there could be a
That's
pick
what we
six
have to
coming,
do
right?
at
They
this
can
point, George.
fumble the kickoff. But I wait for things to happen here. We have not seen Cincinnati do much as far as stopping the Chargers. Let's see what happens now where the Chargers are going to be trying to score again. All right, they may have taken their foot up the gas a little bit. Hey, you got the end zone. That's great. The reason you saw the look on my face, by the way, is I couldn't tell if that was a 1 or a 5 at first when they threw the ball.
Gotcha.
So I was was it Higgins or was it Chase there? So it took a little bit for me to see that.
Fair enough.
Getting old, the eyes aren't great here. So that's why we look on my face. I really wasn't trying to be stoic until after you said it. Then I was trying to be. So listen, it's good. Doesn't really help our Jamar Chase number at all, but it does help my actually that drive was great for my Joe Burrow attempt prop. All those stupid penalties, he threw like 18 passes that drive, so we'll take that run. A little NHL for you, by the way. Rangers. I am on the Rangers tonight. Rangers score a goal. They're up 1-0 on Seattle, 2 minutes left in the second period. And you and I had talked about possibly doing a parlay with the Rangers and Vancouver. I decided not to do that, and I'm glad I didn't because Nashville scores first. So they're up on Vancouver 1-0 about halfway through the first period.
All right, fair enough. Here's, again, let me play Mr. Brightside for you, okay? Here's one thing I do think it means for us. I don't think they pulled Joe Burrow anymore in this game, okay? And that has to be good for Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and everybody else involved here. You're at least going to have your Pro Bowl caliber quarterback playing for the rest of the game. We now have a 2-score game late in the third quarter. This becomes a very interesting drive for the Chargers. You're right. Maybe the foot is now back on the gas pedal, and all of a sudden that means they go right down the field. But we will be here after the break on In-Game Live to figure it out. I'm still holding out hope. My friend George over here is not. But we'll see.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With 2 former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
We live in a society right now where everybody's a snowflake, everybody's a cupcake, and everybody thinks that nothing is fair. Everything is like, it's not fair. We should have a better chance. We need more. You know what? I'm old enough to remember when you needed to have a perfect goddamn record to win a college football championship. That's the way it was. 11-1, too bad.
Sports Rage tonight, only on Sports Grid.
Grandma Bear, who owns the football team, probably comes in, gives a little, oh, hey, you're such a good little boy out there. Congratulations, the way you coach this football team. I'm never going to fire you.
Totally, I missed you pinching your own cheek as I was
that's what your
looking down
grandma
and did
does,
not
right?
know we were getting...
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there with that guy named Ben. Like, that's what your grandma would do to you when you go see her on Thanksgiving or Christmas,
The Early Line, only on Sports Grid.
Together, both Davante Adams and Garrett Wilson had huge nights. Aaron Rodgers loves the 2 big targets, and he says if this is going to happen, going to be very tough on the defense to decide who they want to go after.
Adams and this kid Wilson, I won't deny what they can do, but nobody else does jack.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on Sports Grid.
Welcome back in here, in-game live for the Chargers and the Bengals on Sunday Night Football. I believe this is a big drive here for the Los Angeles Chargers, and it is 2nd and 10. They did not hit Quentin Johnson down the left side. It is 3rd and 10. They did not hit Josh Palmer on 2nd down. So now, George, listen, 2 incomplete passes. It is 3rd and long. There is still 5:22 left to go. I'm gonna tell you, this is a big play in this game, George. I've been telling you, if they get a 3 and out here all of a sudden, and since he could get the ball back, I am now staring at 3rd and 10 for the Los Angeles Chargers. They have taken no time off the clock. They are not still running the ball. That last throw was well behind Josh Palmer, and all of a sudden, this is a big 3rd down if the Cincinnati Bengals can get off the field. You have said they haven't shown you anything, and you're absolutely right. But if they can somehow get off the field here and get the ball back, all of a sudden, even the curmudgeon of the curmudgeon, residing in Long Island, would have to go ahead and say that this is a game. And George, you are reacting as though something has happened. And yeah, something did happen. Justin Herbert gets sacked big time. It is now 4th and 22. And George, not only did the Cincinnati Bengals get off the field here 3 and out, but they have pushed the Chargers back. They will be punting from their own, 17 or 18-yard line? So now talk to me, George, because the Cincinnati Bengals should get the ball back with minutes left to go in the 3rd quarter, down by 2 scores, and I think they're going to get the ball at around their own 40-yard line. So, George, do we now have something to discuss?
Well, they're going to do better than 40 is a bad punt, too. So that'll certainly help there. As far as the game, no. I mean, now you do a really bad punt.
It's midfield, George. It's midfield. Punt. They got the ball at midfield, George. Come on.
You still have to do something with it. I mean, you're just assuming, Judge, they're going to go right back down the field. They did it once. Do it again. Do it again. It's encouraging. It almost looks like now the Chargers.
Chase, that's a decent probability, my friend.
Oh, well, once again, you love your ifs. Well, you can play that game all day long. What if he throws a pick six? I mean, what if he fumbles the ball? What if he gets sacked and stripped? I mean, I don't deal with ifs. I only deal with probabilities. And probabilities right now is I think they'll get at least a field goal out of this drive. And I think they would kick the field goal now, which is somewhat problematic. Don't get me wrong. If you have the over, you don't mind the field goal. You do the pregame over. You do need 2 scores here. One has to be a touchdown. So I wouldn't complain about a field goal. I'm on the 48.5. You mentioned the 43.5 early, and that we'll take the field goal for that as well. Then we would just need any score to get that, including another field goal. So there are different things in play now because we do have. I didn't see how much time's left. 4.5. So you got 19. So everything's back in play now. The Cincinnati Bengals theoretically would get the ball at least 3 more times, probably 4. Yeah. So like I said, they could definitely kick a field goal here. All the props that we mentioned earlier, they're all in play now. Maybe Gesicki, he would probably need a big play here. And he's had chances. They haven't connected. Jamar Chase, it'd be nice. They're hitting T. Higgins more in that last drive.
Chase
he
has
done much.
We needed him to get to around 100. Higgins is at 66. We were giving him 70.5 was the number we gave out at halftime. So one more T. Higgins catch should get it done. Jamar Chase at 53, needing about 45 or so, 45 to 50, depending on when you were listening to us. To me, that's 3 catches for Jamar Chase in this kind of context, which I think is doable. Jamar Chase has 5 catches on the day already. Joe Burrow has 152 yards. You, before the game, gave out, 36.5 attempts? And Joe Burrow is at 26 attempts. He's going to throw the ball 11 more times in this game, George. So I think that is in a good way. And by the way, the in-game number for Burrow?
For his pass attempts.
For attempts, They don't give me attempts. They give me completions. Joe Burrow has 16. Let's put it this way, Joe. Let's put it this way, George. Joe Burrow has 16 completions, and they're hanging 27 and a half. They are giving you 12 more completions, and you need 11 more attempts. I think that's a pretty fair number when you consider incompletions and when you consider just throwing it away as well. So I think you're okay on that. Here's the other thing I'll tell you. J.K. Dobbins, 6 carries for 6 yards in this game. Gus Edwards with 27 yards. Justin Herbert, the leading rusher for the Cincinnati Bengals. But, George, I'm telling you right now, Chase Brown underneath for 3 yards. This is now, I think, a drive where the run game is viable too. You don't need to all of a sudden go crazy. You can just operate this drive as normal, George. You just put out your best plays to try to get 7 on this drive. The one thing I will disagree with you on, I don't think they're kicking a field goal here on this drive. I still think they view this as 4 down territory. I still think for this drive for the Bengals, it's touchdown or bust.
Oh, I think you're definitely wrong, depending on where they are. If they're at the 36-yard line, it's 4th and 7, they're kicking a field goal. I mean, they're not going to go for it. The numbers would tell you you're nuts to do that. We're in the 3rd quarter, not the 4th. You take the 3 points. That being said, it may not matter here, depending on what they do on this play. So it'll depend on the game situation here. If it's 4th and 1, yeah, they'll go for it. That's okay. It's probably 4th and 5 or more, and they're in field goal range. They're going to kick the field goal here, unless they're inside the 10-yard line or something like that. There's no reason not to. I said, you and I just both agreed they're going to get the ball 3-4 more times. So that's more than enough to get the ball 2 more times and score here. Like I said, we'll see what the game situation says here. But
we got a 3rd and 2.
We got a 3rd and 2. We'll see if they can pick this. Hey, can you hit T? Can I just cash a bet? Come on, hit T. All right, please.
I would love it if we hit T, but it is an incomplete pass here to Burton. So it is 4th and 2 at the 42-yard line. In this situation, they are going for it on 4th down. To your point previously, down in distance. Obviously, they're out of field goal range here still. A short 4th down attempt here. It is 4th and 2 because they couldn't complete it to the tight end, Burton. So we'll see if they can pick this up.
Stop throwing the ball to Burton.
That's fair.
Every pass to Burton's incomplete.
So here's the other thing. When we were talking about Gesicki, I mentioned this on Thursday Night Football last week. They were getting Burton involved. They were getting Drew Sample involved. They were getting all sorts of tight ends involved in this one. Cincinnati calls a timeout. They have 2 left because they want to figure out what kind of play to call on this one, to be sure here. We got about 3 minutes left to go. This is a big play in this game, George. This is a big play in this game to see if they can convert. Joe Burrow with 155 and a tud so far. This is a big-time drive. And by the way, George, we've been talking about the props for most of this game. In this one now, we have a 9.5-point live spread. At one point, we saw it over 2 touchdowns. I think we saw 15.5 at max. And right now, we also have a live total of 56.5 with 40 points on the board. So the question is, will it be 2 touchdowns and a field goal? Even the 2-point conversions, which I don't think are necessarily in play, they're looking for 3 more scores in this game to see if that's what we can get. This is a big 4th down coming up for Cincinnati. What do you think about the live spread here? It's now 9.5. Backdoor, pretty big right now for Cincinnati.
Well, it depends if they make this. They don't make this play, then you know what Chargers are going to score again. They'll be in scoring range here. I kind of like the under. You get it's locked now, but you were getting the even money here. Oh, that is beautiful. That is just beautiful.
Oh, that is so beautiful. Joe Burrow to who? To T. Higgins for 42 yards. Now, George, will you change your tune a little bit? As we go to commercial break here, the Cincinnati Bengals are back in this game. T. Higgins gets behind the defense, and Joe Burrow finds him on, George, his 29th attempt of the game. Joe Burrow now with 197 yards on a 4th and 2. They go over the top to T. Higgins, and we are now back in this game. It is a 1-score game. If you hit him at 15.5, you feel good. And George, even you have to smile because we are not even done with the 3rd quarter, and it is a 1-possession game. T. Higgins gets over the top, and we are live here on In Game Live. When we come back, here's what's going to happen. George is going to talk about how, we'll see what has happened. He has now seen what has happened.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
We live in a society right now where everybody's a snowflake, everybody's a cupcake, and everybody thinks that nothing is fair. Everything is like, it's not fair. We should have a better chance. We need more. You know what? I'm old enough to remember when you needed to have a perfect goddamn record to win a college football championship. That's the way it was. 11-1, too bad.
Sports Rage tonight, only on Sports Grid.
Grandma Bear, who owns the football team, probably comes in, gives a little, oh, man, you're such a good little boy out there. Congratulations, the way you coach this football team. I'm never going to fire you.
Totally, I missed you. Pinching your own cheek? As I was
that's what your
looking down
grandma
and did
does,
not
right?
know we were getting.
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there with that guy named Ben. Like, that's what your grandma would do to you when you go see her on Thanksgiving or Christmas,
The Early Line, only on Sports Grid.
Together, both Davante Adams and Garrett Wilson had huge nights. Aaron Rodgers loves the two big targets, and he says if this is going to happen, going to be very tough on the defense to decide who they want to go after.
Adams and this kid Wilson, I won't deny what they can do, but nobody else does jack.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on Sports Grid.
Welcome in, everybody. In-game live, Sunday Night Football style. Dane Martinez and George Kurtz. The Cincinnati Bengals have outscored the Chargers 14-3 in the third quarter. And with 2:53 left in the third quarter, the Chargers will start their drive after a touchback on their own 30-yard line. So, George, talk to me about this one now, because Cincinnati has certainly come alive in the second quarter. T. Higgins has hit his prop. Like we talked about, Joe Burrow is starting to get hot, and we now have a full quarter at least here. And let me tell you something, the Chargers have not really done much in the second half, right? And to your point, they've been continuing to throw the ball. It's not like they've been parking the bus. It's not like they've been taking the air out of the balloon. They've sacked Justin Herbert a couple of times. There's been a couple of inaccurate throws from Justin Herbert. So this Cincinnati defense, whatever riot act they were read at halftime, has certainly so far started to matter. They give the ball to J.K. Dobbins on first down, and he gets stuffed for absolutely no gain. This looks like a different Cincinnati defense so far in the third quarter, George.
I just got an in-game bet, just barely got it in, by the way. Herbert needs 4 more yards rushing, over 62. He's at 58 now. So I just took that as an in-game because once again, now that the game is closer, I think he'll be more willing to run the ball and try and get that first down again. We've seen it earlier. It works very well. By the way, Alex Ovechkin, hat trick. Ovechkin, hat trick. He's now 20, I want to say 29 goals from Gretzky. It might be 28. From Gretzky. Alex Ovechkin hat trick into the empty net here. Capitals will beat our leading Vegas 5-2. They'll beat Vegas.
All right, good to know. And Ovechkin on the chase for the great one, to be sure. We've got a 3rd and 4 here, George. To be honest, they need to convert here if you're the Chargers. If you go 3 and out again, George, then all of a sudden, momentum is definitely on the Cincinnati side here. Still with 2 minutes left to go in the third quarter, the Chargers facing another 3rd down, and they do, in fact, pick it up. Ladd McConkey over the middle here for about, 15 to 20 yards down the right side. So the Chargers do what they have to do on that one. They pick it up. But honestly, we are still in this game. Cincinnati needs to hold the Chargers here, either get off the field or hold them to 3 as we get towards the end of the third quarter. Justin Herbert, 230 yards on the day, 2 touchdowns. Joe Burrow on the other side, 197 and 2 touchdowns. Ladd McConkey, 4 for 68. Will Dissly, the leading receiver for the Los Angeles Chargers in this one so far. So we'll see what happens on this one. But as we come down towards the end of the third quarter, we've got a 7-point game, 27 to 20, incomplete to Quentin Johnston. So now what we have here is a 6.5-point live spread for the Chargers. They are laying 6.5-point. Nice play by the cornerback going up and deflecting that ball, and he has remained down. He went out and sold out for it to try to knock that down and tip it, which he did. And so we'll see what happens with the injury. But we're staring at 6.5, and we're sitting at 61.5, George, as a live total with 47 on the board. So the question is, will there be more than 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter? This has become a shootout that we didn't necessarily think it was going to be, but the live total is in fact in the 60s. They're checking on the cornerback, who really made a nice play to tip that away from Quentin Johnston, and that's a big one with 49 seconds left in the third. But George, we've got a shootout on our hands. It's 27-20 entering the fourth.
Yeah, we do. Didn't quite see this coming here. Probably didn't see the Chargers throwing the ball as much as they have. They've almost abandoned the run, which
Yep.
I'm not saying that's the wrong thing, by the way. This is how you attack Cincinnati. You throw the ball. They're not very good at it. Harbaugh's just playing to their weaknesses. So good for them. I might complain a little bit, Dane, that they keep going for the kill shot. They keep trying for the kill shot, which is putting him in second and long, third and long here. Nothing wrong with underneath patterns. Nothing wrong with underneath patterns here. So we'll see. But, yeah, this is the shootout. It's very similar to, once again, the Baltimore and Cincinnati last week, where they're hitting big plays here. They're scoring points. We only need, like I said, we need a field goal for our over, pregame over here. We're still looking for Chase here. And when 61, you need 2 touchdowns plus.
More than 2
touchdowns plus. That's a lot. That's a lot to ask for. And you're getting straight up, minus 114 either way. I probably still lean the under here because of the plus. You know, you need 3 scores here. But as you said earlier, overtime is in play. You know, overtime could come in as well.
Yep. So we'll see about this. They're still checking on the guy here. We've got 49 seconds left in the third quarter. The Chargers have the ball on the Cincinnati side of the field, but they need to pick up a couple first downs just to really get into field goal range here. So we will see. It is second down, and I agree with what you're saying here. A lot of these throws have been Quentin Johnston deep, right? Ladd McConkey deep. Why are they not like hitting Will Dissly for 7 yards, kind of get Herbert really in a flow? They continue to have not really run the ball. Herbert is still the leading rusher for the Los Angeles Chargers with 58 yards. I think you put in live, 62.5. Gus Edwards, 6 carries for 27. J.K. Dobbins, 7 carries for 6 yards, although he just ripped off a 15-yard gain right now to get the Chargers into field goal range. They are now on the Cincinnati 31-yard line in what will probably be the last play of the third quarter. So, and a nice way, because they had him dead to rights, George, on that. They had him stopped behind the line of scrimmage. That is a nice run for J.K. Dobbins to extend it, bounce it back a little bit up the middle to the right of where he was, because that was big. They had him behind the line of scrimmage. This could have been like a 3rd and 12, 3rd or 13. Big time effort for J.K. Dobbins with what will likely be the last play of the third quarter to not only keep them on schedule, but get the first down, get into field goal range. That's a huge play. What could have been 3rd and 13 is now the Chargers in field goal range, George.
Yeah, you got to wrap up there. I mean, they had 3 Bengals there. The one guy was probably being held where he couldn't wrap his one arm, but Hendrickson was there, and so was Herbert. I mean, you got to wrap up. You just got to wrap up there. That's a great play by Dobbins. Bounced it back to the inside, picked up the first down there. Key first down. You said would have been 3rd and 12, and everything's going the Bengals' way here. Now, at the very least, you're in field goal range here to possibly, once again, extend this lead to 2 scores again.
Yeah, fair enough. But listen, if they get the field goal here, the 2 touchdowns plus is live for that 61.5, really, if you want to know my opinion, right? If they get the field goal here, a 10-point lead, we've seen Joe Burrow continuing to go, and we have a full quarter here. The fourth quarter may be more interesting than we thought at halftime. So come on back and join us. This could be fun here on In-Game Live.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With 2 former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
We live in a society right now where everybody's a snowflake, everybody's a cupcake, and everybody thinks that nothing is fair. Everything is like, it's not fair. We should have a better chance. We need more. You know what? I'm old enough to remember when you needed to have a perfect goddamn record to win a college football championship. That's the way it was. 11-1, too bad.
Sports Rage tonight, only on Sports Grid.
Grandma Bear, who owns the football team, probably comes in, gives a little, oh, man, you're such a good little boy out there. Congratulations, the way you coach this football team. I'm never going to fire you.
Totally, I missed you pinching your own cheek as I was
that's what
looking
your
down
grandma
and did
does,
not
right?
know we were getting.
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there with that guy named Ben. Like, that's what your grandma would do to you when you go see her on Thanksgiving or Christmas,
The Early Line, only on Sports Grid.
Together, both Davante Adams and Garrett Wilson had huge nights. Aaron Rodgers loves the 2 big targets, and he says if this is going to happen, going to be very tough on the defense to decide who they want to go after.
Adams and this kid Wilson, I won't deny what they can do, but nobody else does jack.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on Sports Grid.
And my, oh my, how Mr. Momentum has changed his address in the second half. George, I think this is probably the best thing possible for you, right? Because Justin Herbert has scrambled. I'm seeing a replay right now. I believe that Justin Herbert picks up more than 4 yards, so you get the rushing prop, and then the ball comes out, and it is picked up by the Cincinnati Bengals. So, George, what happened to all those conditional sentences I was saying with ifs? With if clauses at the beginning, because now what do we have? Congratulations on hitting that rushing prop, but the Chargers do not extend to a 2-score lead. Instead, they fumble, and with 14 minutes left to go, the Cincinnati Bengals have the ball on their own 30-yard line or so. Joe Burrow and the Bengals are in business, my friend.
They just hit a big play, but there's a flag down, so I don't know what it is. The way the NFL is going nowadays, I imagine it's an ineligible receiver down the field. That'd be my guess. But I didn't see it. But we're waiting for the call.
There are no linemen. There are no linemen.
I'm just guessing.
Watching a play after
the refs are discussing things. They're having a discussion here, so we're waiting to see what it is. This is a huge play, about a 30-yard play if it stands.
It was the line. It was the running back, Chase Brown, by the way, on this play, who after a Joe Burrow scramble, he hits Brown, who then goes for another 30 yards or so. So we're seeing they are discussing it. You're going to tell me what's going on right here. But like you said, that's a big play that could flip the field if there is no penalty to bring it back. And George is going to let us know there's also an injured Charger. There's also an injured Charger there that they are attending to. And you're saying, and I'm seeing now too, 35-yard gain for Joe Burrow here. And they've to the running back, Chase Brown. So, by the way, one of my pregame props that I told everybody about was Chase Brown over 24 receiving yards. He got it on that one play alone. Chase Brown now has 43 receiving yards. Joe Burrow is up to 231. George, you were talking about 36 and a half attempts. Joe Burrow has 30 attempts in this one. And by the way, George, come on. At this point, even you, the flag was, I'm seeing a replay, they were looking to see if maybe it was a face mask on Joe Burrow as well. I saw them yank a little bit, but George.
Two face masks on the play. They didn't call it one. They called it illegal hands to the face. That's a face mask.
This is all Cincinnati in the second half. They are on the Chargers.
There's a flag again. There's a flag again.
All right, but I don't care, George. Even if there is a flag, I mean, yes, of course, George. We do care if like the drive stalls a little bit. But here's what we have gotten in the last 5 minutes. You've got your Herbert rushing prop, so smile about that. And then regardless, even if this is like 1st and 20 with a hold or something, you know, what we do have. Fine, but what we do have is Joe Burrow now starting to make plays in the passing game, George. And quite frankly, even if they're rolling over to Jamar Chase, we're seeing Chase Brown, we're seeing T. Higgins, we're seeing a lot of other people get involved. The Cincinnati Bengals in the passing game are doing their thing. Oh, no. It is a holding, so we are back. That's fine. But listen, we've got a lot of time left here. Yeah. But we got a lot of time left in this game. It's going to wind up being, 1st and 18 because of the couple of yards that they gained, something like that, and then the hold, bringing them back. So we'll see.
Where the hold takes place.
Right. So I think we're going to have like 1st and 17, 1st and 18, something like that is going to be the call. But regardless, George, this is a completely different game because of the turnover by Justin Herbert. The Cincinnati defense has been playing different in the second half, and Joe Burrow via the passing game, as soon as they kind of abandoned the game script and the Chargers wanted to take Jamar Chase away, then all of a sudden we start to see other people get involved, and now Jamar Chase back involved as well. So we're getting close on what we need for Jamar Chase. We're going to need some more out of Jamar Chase, but we have still second and long as Jamar Chase has now 6 catches for 58 yards and the TUD. But come on, George, this is a big drive. We are live. We got 13 minutes left to go. This is going to be fun coming down to the wire. And now I'll give it to you. Now we'll even kick a field goal here if we're Cincinnati.
Of course you would, yeah. They'll definitely kick a field goal, which we'll take, by the way, because that puts us on over the pregame over. So that'll be another cash bet, which a lot of us had here. It was a small bet, to be honest. I didn't have a big play on it, but I'll take it.
All right, and we're going to have, after a completion to a tight end that was once again not named Mike Gesicki, we're going to have 3rd and 4. So the Cincinnati Bengals are within field goal range right now. When we come back, we'll see if they convert. We'll see if they take the 3. That would push us over the pregame total. We got a lot to discuss here still left on In Game Live.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With 2 former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
We live in a society right now where everybody's a snowflake, everybody's a cupcake, and everybody thinks that nothing is fair. Everything is like, it's not fair. We should have a better chance. We need more. You know what? I'm old enough to remember when you needed to have a perfect goddamn record to win a college football championship. That's the way it was. 11-1, too bad.
Sports Rage tonight, only on Sports Grid.
Grandma Bear, who owns the football team probably comes in, gives a little, oh, man, you're such a good little boy out there. Congratulations, the way you coach this football team. I'm never going to fire you.
Totally, I missed you. Pinching your own cheek? As I was
that's what your
looking down
grandma
and did
does,
not
right?
know we were getting.
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there with that guy named Ben. Like, that's what your grandma would do to you when you go see her on Thanksgiving or Christmas,
The Early Line. Only on Sports Grid.
Together, both Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson had huge nights. Aaron Rodgers loves the two big targets, and he says if this is going to happen, going to be very tough on the defense to decide who they want to go after.
Adams and this kid Wilson, I won't deny what they can do, but nobody else does jack.
Pharrell Coast to Coast. Only on Sports Grid.
Welcome back into in-game live Sunday night football style. And even the most pessimistic now have to see, because we have Jamar Chase with a touchdown for the Cincinnati Bengals. The extra point is up and good, and we are tied at 27. My, oh my, what a second half for Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals, outscoring the Chargers 21-3 in the first half. Joe Burrow now at 276 yards on the day, 3 touchdowns, including 2 to Jamar Chase, who now has 7 catches for 75 yards. And George, this has been a very different second half. The fumble by Justin Herbert looms large. The penalties on the Chargers side loom large. Joe Burrow now throwing the ball left and right, and we are tied at 27. What does that mean? That also means we have 54 points on the board. So even the highest of live totals that we saw, which I believe was 61.5, now we're seeing, are there going to be a touchdown plus in this game? I think we might. I think overtime is live. We have already hit the over on the pregame number. We certainly hit the over on the low number that it dipped to at 43.5. You might have, if you were listening to me, get the Cincinnati Bengals plus as much as, I think, George, it was 15.5 at one point, was as high as we saw it. And I see George checking out his personal bets because all of a sudden we are making bank. We have overs, and George, I am now staring at minus 113, both sides on the money line. The Chargers are a 1.5 point favorite, but I don't know. Uncle Mo has certainly changed his address, George. I actually think right now, based on what we're seeing, Cincinnati may be the better squad here. With the momentum, they might come all the way back in this one, George.
I wasn't checking my personal bets, by the way. I was checking. Now that we've won a slew of bets, I'm being greedy. What else can we buy?
You've gone from
That's
lick your wounds to greedy. In the mere
it's amazing how fast that
about
changes,
15
right?
minutes here on In-Game Live. So what are you looking for, George? What are you looking for? Talk to me.
Ones, if you look at small bets here, I mean, how much time's left in this game? 12:21.
I'll tell you right now.
The Chargers are getting the ball at least 2 more times. Yep. I mean, Josh Palmer only needs 6 yards, 6-yard reception. You tell me he's not going to catch one pass? That's pretty much what it is, one pass. It's not a heavy price, only minus 114 here. I like that. Quentin Johnson needs 11. I'm already in on that, so I'm not going to take that. The number's the same as it was before. If you want to go Disley, it's 12 yards. How about Chase Brown? He only needs 5. They were hitting him a lot in that last drive. I know it's a different game now, so they might run the ball now more than look for him in the pass game, but I don't mind that either, but you have to pay for that a little bit. It's minus 122. So I'm going to go on Palmer. I already went on Palmer. I'm going to go on Palmer here just to catch one pass, Josh. One pass. Okay, it's probably all I need to cash that here. We'll see what else. I'm not going to take any rushing props. I'm just not feeling the rushing here. Herbert,
can I
3
say
yards.
Something? Can I say something, though? If you've been with us for this whole game, can you see George? Just look at George. Look at George right now. Guys in the back, if you could take like a screenshot of George and had his face in the second quarter, his face in the third quarter, the emotion the excitement in the man's voice. He was talking to me about rainbows and unicorns and the kind of sayings it were and all the conditional phrases that I was saying. And now you see
And there's
George
Josh
all of a sudden.
Palmer.
Hey,
I like it when we can't
look
get
at
on the
George.
first play.
Look at the man smile. Look at this man laughing and smiling. It's almost like it's the holiday season coming up. At first, he was literally belittling me for my confidence, for my hope, for my excitement and what could be true in the second half of this game. And now all of a sudden, he is seeing it too. As Justin Herbert continues to sling it, he hits Josh
I'm
Palmer.
seeing bets. I don't care about the game. I'm
Fair
not betting
enough.
the game. I'm seeing bets.
Fair enough, but Josh Palmer with 12 yards gives George another
I take that
catch.
back, by the way. I have a game. I forgot I have a bet on Cincinnati plus 1.5. Are they getting or something like that? So once again, it's a small bet. It's really kind of inconsequential. But I did put.
All of a sudden, Bengals bets are coming out of the woodwork for George Kurtz that he thought were over and done and gone, and now he cares about them yet again. There is an injured Bengal on the turf here after this play, so they're taking a timeout. And here's what I think is the most important part here, George. There is still 12 minutes and 9 seconds left in this game. There is a long way to go. See, George went from like, nah, I can't touch it, I need to see it. Well, guess what, people? Over the last hour, George Kurtz saw it, and now he is coming back into this right now on Palmer. I would say, you know what's interesting to me? You know who we haven't heard from in a long time? Is Will Dissly, George. What's the Will Dissly number? That's what I want to know. Because
10 yards.
To your point, one of the things you said that I completely agree with, that the Chargers were doing in the third quarter, they were going for the kill shot, right? They were going deep to Palmer. They were going deep to McConkey. Now, all of a sudden, that we are in a game that is competitive. I mean, it can't get more competitive than this. We're tied with 12 minutes left. I think one of the things they have to realize is let's get a drive. Let's eat some time off the clock. Let's keep Joe Burrow off the damn field here, right? And I think Will Dissly becomes an option as well. So I know you're going into Palmer. We've seen McConkey. We've been talking about Quentin Johnston. Will Dissly is still the leading receiver for the Chargers, 4 for 80 and a touchdown. I think they need to go to the security blanket that is the tight end, the security blanket that is Will Dissly. What do you think about Dissly props here, George?
Fine. I'm going to do it. I'll do that too.
Oh, now George is ready. Now George is clicking.
Yeah, well, once again, the Chargers are going to get the ball twice. At least I assume they are, right? They have the ball now, and they should get it one more time. Right, and the game could go to overtime, as you said. So that maybe they get the ball 3 times here. So we're not asking for much. It's probably 50-50 on 1 catch or 2 catches. 10 yards, he could get it 1 catch. He might need 2 here.
Right.
The only thing I might say about this is I'm already playing Palmer. I'm almost hoping for a split, which is why I really don't like to do this somewhat here, because I don't know if I can hit both. But Palmer is literally 1 catch. I need 5 yards. 5.
Right.
All right, this day I need double that. So I'll go both here, only because they get the ball twice. If this was Cincinnati, who might only get the ball once, I probably wouldn't do that.
All right. So we'll see. And all of a sudden, that Jamar Chase bet that we were talking about is live as well. Incomplete out of Herbert. So we've got 2nd and 10 here on their own side of the field on the 42-yard line. Jamar Chase, just to reset that one, 7 catches, 75 yards, 2 touchdowns. We were talking about Jamar Chase, George, at around the 100 level, right? It was vacillating between like 101, 98, 99. So we'll see if you got in there. But I think Cincy is going to get the ball 2 more times as well, George. And we're now talking about 25 yards. That's 2 from Jamar Chase. And here's the thing. Whatever you said, if like the Chargers were doubling Chase or rolling coverage over, guess what? They've been getting burned by Chase Brown and by T. Higgins. They have to not employ that strategy anymore. And quite frankly, Chase still hit them with the touchdown. Chase is still able to get 10, 15 yards anytime they want. So we'll see what happens on this one. What do we have here? I've got 2nd and 10 on their own side of the field, and the Chargers really do not look like themselves right now.
It looks like Herbert lateraled again.
That was backwards.
He lateraled again. I don't think it is, actually. On the replay, it looks like it's a forward pass. And on the replay, it is a forward pass.
They're calling it incomplete. But regardless, we've got 3rd and long, George, with 12 minutes left to go here. Okay, Justin Herbert and this Chargers offense have not done much here in the second half. It is 21-3 in the second half here for the Cincinnati Bengals, and they are now 3rd and long. They need to convert here. I don't know, because here's the deal. I mean, if you're ahead of it, the pass it got tipped also, George, right? And so that throws off the trajectory a little bit, but it is 3rd down, 11 and a half minutes left to go. We've got to take a quick break here on In Game Live. We'll let you know what happens if the Chargers don't complete this and they have an offside. So it's not 3rd and 10. It's going to be 3rd and 5, 3rd and manageable for the Chargers. This is a key play. We'll let you know what happens when we come back on IPL.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With 2 former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
We live in a society right now where everybody's a snowflake, everybody's a cupcake, and everybody thinks that nothing is fair. Everything is like, it's not fair. We should have a better chance. We need more. You know what? I'm old enough to remember when you needed to have a perfect goddamn record to win a college football championship. That's the way it was. 11-1, too bad.
Sports Rage tonight, only on Sports Grid.
Grandma Bear, who owns the football team, probably comes in, gives a little, oh, man, you're such a good little boy out there. Congratulations, the way you coach this football team. I'm never going to fire you.
Totally, I missed you pinching your own cheek as I was
that's what your
looking down
grandma
and did
does,
not
right?
know we were getting.
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there with that guy named Ben. Like, that's what your grandma would do to you when you go see her on Thanksgiving or Christmas,
The Early Line, only on Sports Grid.
Together, both Davante Adams and Garrett Wilson had huge nights. Aaron Rodgers loves the 2 big targets, and he says if this is going to happen, going to be very tough on the defense to decide who they want to go after.
Adams and this kid Wilson, I won't deny what they can do, but nobody else does jack.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on Sports Grid.
The snowball rolling downhill that is the Cincinnati Bengals continues to roll downhill. They get the Chargers off the field. They get the ball back, and they have already converted a first down via T. Higgins, who, by the way, in his return to action for the Cincinnati Bengals, now has 7 catches, 118 yards, and a touchdown. That is a big game for T. Higgins, showing what he can do for this offense. And by the way, Joe Burrow now, George, has 24 completions on 36 attempts. You need one more throw in this game to hit that prop. I think that's going to happen. 286 yards. And here's the other thing I'll say. I don't think either one of us clicked it, but in the second quarter, when it started to become a two-score lead, we saw Joe Burrow passing props that were around 300 to 310 yards. He is now at like 286. So that one looks live to me as well. Chase Brown with a nice gain on first down. It is 2nd and 1. The Bengals are moving the ball, and with 10 minutes left to go,
Joe.
they have the ball and they are moving. What do you see here, George? What do you see here?
It might have been a free play. If not, he threw an arm punt.
Oh, well, if there's laundry on the field, let's see.
It wasn't a free play, but he got lucky. They're calling another roughing the passer. So it wasn't a free play. He just got
lucky. I saw this one live, though, George. I saw this one live, and he got rocked. He got rocked on this one. Okay,
It's
this
the
is not a
landing on
push.
him.
This is not a push
hit's
like
fine.
you've been talking about. This is a legitimate 15-yard penalty here, and they are now on the Chargers side
hit
of
is
the
fine.
field.
He landed on him. He put full
What is
weight
that?
on him. That's what
The
got
body
called.
weight. That's the body weight
The body
that they call.
Right. That's what got
I
called.
mean,
The hit was good. Didn't hit him in the head. Good hit.
That
Can't
is
land
a
on
more
him. That's the rule.
legitimate. That is a more legitimate penalty than some of the other ones we have seen,
Agreed.
though.
My
Now,
rule is
the Cincinnati Bengals are on the Chargers side of the field. 9:49 left to play. Joe Burrow with 286 yards. Chase Brown runs for a small gain on first down. So the Jamar Chase one is what we're really looking at, right? We need about, 25 yards or so out of Jamar Chase. But honestly, George, what did I tell you? I told you this game was going to go to overtime 30-30, right? Isn't that what I told you? And that is still well within the range of possibilities here, a 30-30 overtime game. We'll see what the Cincinnati Bengals do on this drive, but they are now more running the ball here because if you're the Cincinnati Bengals, right, and Zach Taylor, you kind of want to score and you want to take as much time as possible to do so, don't you?
Yeah, but you can't kill the clock that much. It's 9 minutes.
I'm not
Play
talking about
normal.
kill the clock. You're playing a normal drive, but you're not in 4-minute offense. You're not in hurry up offense. You're just playing your normal
You're playing
self, right?
your normal offense here. You're playing your normal offense. But passing's been working, so that's what I would be doing here. All right, that's what's been working against the Chargers. He got lucky here. He was able to. I don't know if he knew the back was there or not.
There was a back there.
Yeah, he got lucky.
Number 34 was there.
And I'll take that. That's my last attempt now, so I don't have to worry about that bet anymore. That cashes.
37
so now it's
Joe Burrow today.
For Cincinnati, it's all about Jamar Chase for me now. So I can get either one of those props.
3rd and 9. We need some Jamar Chase.
Jailbreak. Oh, finally. I've been waiting for this all day.
Gesicki? Is that Gesicki potentially?
No. I think I'm waiting a couple of weeks
for that all day
for Joe
too,
Burrow
right?
to run. I don't know why Joe Burrow hasn't run a couple of times here. He's had this wide open a couple of times, but he's been unwilling to do that. He is athletic. He can run.
Joe
Burrow waiting to do this a couple
14
of times.
yards. Gets them, I would say, gets them into field goal range, George. They're the 31, 32? So they are in field goal range. I wouldn't be surprised if we see more Chase Brown on the ground here, George, to continue to move the clock. Again,
if he plays for a field goal and not a touchdown, he's an idiot.
I don't think they're going to play for a field goal necessarily, but I am saying it's not only the passing game. I do think on especially 1st and 10, I wouldn't mind. I think they're going to run the ball with Chase Brown right here on 1st and 10. I'm telling you right now, I think they're going to run the ball and keep the clock moving.
Well, they did. So I'll give that away for you. Yeah,
fair enough.
They did run the ball. And they got a nice gain out of it too to put some in good shape here.
They just got to stay on schedule, George. That's all they got to do, right? All they got to do is stay on schedule here. 2nd and 6, 2nd and medium, incomplete. They're going for the tight ends not named Gesicki is what they continue to do here, George. That one was for sample. So now we have a 3rd and 6, but they are in field goal range. They're in field goal range here regardless, okay? And quite frankly, George, the way the Chargers offense has looked in the second half, you get a field goal here with about 8 minutes left to go, 7-8 minutes left to go. And I feel good if I'm Cincinnati. The Chargers have not, in the second half, shown. I mean, listen, even if the Chargers score, you have one more drive with Joe Burrow. And the way Joe Burrow in this passing game has looked, it'll be interesting. They're on the 30, so even if they get an incomplete pass or don't get another yard, we're staring at a 47, 48-yard field goal, which should be makeable, and it is incomplete. It was intended for our boy Jamar Chase, so now it does look like it'll be Evan McPherson to try to give the Cincinnati Bengals the lead. And George, at one point, it was 24-6 at halftime, and now it is on the leg of McPherson to potentially give the Cincinnati Bengals the lead here with 7.5 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. I mean, we saw Cincinnati plus 15.5 at one point, and they might be able to take the lead here with 7:40 left to go.
Yeah, it's been a lot of resolve by Cincinnati, right? Because they were playing like crap in the first half. They came out much stronger in the second half. I don't know what's gone wrong with the Chargers. I mean, they dominated the first half. I understand maybe you take a deep breath here, take your foot off the gas a little bit, but I think you said it earlier.
He missed.
Oh, God. This is why I don't play for a field goal.
He missed. I don't think they weren't playing for a field goal. They threw the ball to Jamar Chase well beyond the stick. They weren't playing for a field goal here, George.
I didn't say they were playing for a field goal. I said this is why I don't play for a field goal, because I do not trust kickers whatsoever.
All right.
Just Justin
misses
today,
a 48-yard attempt, and we are still, it sneaks wide left. But I got to tell you something. I don't know about this, George. I mean, we'll show the replay, but it went over the goalpost, and it was kind of bending that way.
They show you another replay now. You see that it missed.
Okay. I think with all the technology we have, they need to shoot laser beams out of the top of the goalpost or something like that.
Agreed.
You're saying you saw a replay, and that's fine, but there are some that arc over the top, and it is a legitimate question at times. You talk about the technology they have. I would like to see them do something like that. We'll see RG do when they have a crack, and we come back on In Game Live.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
We live in a society right now where everybody's a snowflake, everybody's a cupcake, and everybody thinks that nothing is fair. Everything is it's not fair. We should have a better chance. We need more. You know what? I'm old enough to remember when you needed to have a perfect goddamn record to win a college football championship. That's the way it was. 11-1, too bad.
Sports Rage tonight, only on Sports Grid.
Grandma Bear, who owns the football team, probably comes in, gives a little, oh, man, you're such a good little boy out there. Congratulations, the way you coach this football team. I'm never going to fire you.
Totally, I missed you pinching your own cheek. As I was looking down and did not know we were getting.
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there with that guy named Ben. That's what your grandma would do to you when you goes here on Thanksgiving or Christmas,
The Early Line, only on Sports Grid.
Together, both Davante Adams and Garrett Wilson had huge nights. Aaron Rodgers loves the two big targets, and he says if this is going to happen, going to be very tough on the defense to decide who they want to go after.
Adams and this kid Wilson, I won't deny what they can do, but nobody else does jack.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on Sports Grid.
Welcome back in Game Live right here. Our guy, George Kurtz, almost hit his double tap on Josh Palmer, but there was a holding on the play. It then became 3rd and 14, and they did not convert. So now the Los Angeles Chargers will be punting the ball back to Cincinnati. We are at 5:41 left to go, and it is coming down to it. This could be if you're the Cincinnati Bengals right now, getting the ball with about 5.5 left to go, you are hoping that this is pretty much the last drive of the game. It is possible for them to take most of the clock here. They're going to get the ball back probably deep in their own territory, if you want to know the truth, right? And they will on their own 20 here. So with about 5:24 left to go on their own 20-yard line. This is Joe Burrow, and the punt returner got absolutely shellacked right there. Good job by him to hold on to the ball, if you want to know the truth. But we're going to have Cincinnati trying to, in essence, drive into field goal range, maybe for the game-winning score, take as much time off the clock as possible. You've got to think that the best possible outcome, or, something they're looking for here, George, is a McPherson field goal with about, 10 seconds left as almost the last play of the game, and they can manipulate the drive, so that is possible. But I will also ask you, I checked recently on will this game go to overtime, and it was plus 310 for that. The other thing we know these Cincinnati Bengals can do is score quick, is go over the top. I still think overtime is live, either by a missed field goal or they aren't able to manipulate the clock. Maybe they kick a field goal with 1:10 left, something like that, or they score and leave the Chargers a couple of minutes left to try and come back down the other way. I think there's multiple ways that this game can go to overtime, George. I think this game could go to overtime at 27 all. I think this game could go to overtime at 30 all. And quite frankly, I think it's possible for this game to go to overtime at 34 all, George. What do you say?
Probably with you on everyone but the 34 all. That's highly unlikely. I do think it can get to overtime, though. It wouldn't be the biggest shock on the planet here. I actually wanted to play it, but I wanted to hit another prop first before I put more money into this game.
George is getting greedy.
Yes. Oh yeah. Beyond greedy at this point. Betting the Disley thing and the Palmer, the double tap on Palmer, that was greedy. I'm beyond this now. Now I want to murder this game, as Cam would say. Right, I want to murder this game. So I'd like to pick it up. The New York Rangers just win, so we cashed that as well. Took the Rangers on the goal line tonight. Said that earlier. So finally, hockey's paying off as well here. Vancouver over Nashville 2-1. Was that mid-second period here. Elias Pettersson scores the power play goal. That's good for me as well. It's been a pretty good night, Dean. I got to work with you more often.
Hey, listen, I'm always here for you, George. The way I think 34 all is possible is because, as you know, T. Higgins over the top, Jamar Chase big plays, those are live, right? So I think while it may not be the intent of the Cincinnati Bengals or plan A, as it were, George, I think it's possible for Cincinnati to get into the end zone with 2 minutes still left to go. If Justin Herbert and the Chargers have the ball down by 7 with anything more than like a minute and a half left to go, that's how I think it's live, with the Chargers still having all 3 of their timeouts. I agree with you. That is probably not the best way for the Cincinnati Bengals to manage this drive. They hit T. Higgins again. T. Higgins now 8 catches for 127 and a tud, but it will keep the clock moving. Cincinnati is probably trying to hold this ball for the rest of the game and, either win it on a walk-off field goal or score with, less than a minute left to go. So we'll see about this one. But in the back pocket, what they also have to know, George, is McPherson just missed from 48 yards, right? So I don't know that you want to put it on his foot right now. I think, quite frankly, plan A is Joe Burrow to Higgins and Chase, right?
That's what I would want them to do. Yeah,
and Chase Brown.
I am not a big believer in playing for field goals. Just not. It's too easy to score in this day and age. Like you said, McPherson just missed the 48. Now, he didn't miss it badly. It wasn't like he shanked it to the third row here. It actually just missed. So I don't know if we are indoors here, so theoretically he should be fine. And that kick would have made it from 60, 65 if he had it straight, right? He crushed it. So I don't think I'm all that worried about McPherson, assuming it's not in his head. So but that being said, I'm still not playing for a field goal. I want to get a touchdown here, put all the pressure on the Chargers, to match us with a touchdown of their own. Because as you said, if they get a touchdown, you're talking, what are they going to have? A minute plus left? That's what I would guess.
T. Higgins, George. More out of T. Higgins, who now has his 9th catch of the day for 148 yards and a touchdown. And now they are on the Chargers side of the field. And quite frankly, George, they're doing it pretty quickly. There's still 4.5 minutes left to go. So the Chargers may find themselves getting a possession back regardless of what happens here. And we'll be here to discuss it on In Game Live.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With 2 former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
We live in a society right now where everybody's a snowflake, everybody's a cupcake, and everybody thinks that nothing is fair. Everything is like, it's not fair. We should have a better chance. We need more. You know what? I'm old enough to remember when you needed to have a perfect goddamn record to win a college football championship. That's the way it was. 11-1, too bad.
Sports Rage tonight, only on Sports Grid.
My grandma Bear, who owns the football team, probably comes in, gives a little, oh, man, you're such a good little boy out there. Congratulations, the way you coach this football team. I'm never going to fire you.
Totally, I missed you pinching your own cheek as I was
that's what
looking
your
down
grandma
and did
does,
not
right?
know we were getting.
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there with that guy named Ben. Like, that's what your grandma would do to you when you go see her on Thanksgiving or Christmas,
The Early Line, only on Sports Grid.
Together, both Davante Adams and Garrett Wilson had huge nights. Aaron Rodgers loves the two big targets, and he says if this is going to happen, going to be very tough on the defense to decide who they want to go after.
Adams and this kid Wilson, I won't deny what they can do, but nobody else does jack.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on Sports Grid.
We are back here on In Game Live, and what has turned into a pretty exciting game between the Chargers and the Bengals. The Bengals converted another first down. It was Yosivas over the middle. George told me, and then I saw the replay. Jamar Chase was wide open down the right side. Could have been a touchdown. He didn't get it. But here's the other part here. The Los Angeles Chargers are now taking their timeouts on defense because they want to preserve some clock. Then the Bengals run the ball, and we are now at the 2-minute warning. The Cincinnati Bengals are on the Chargers' 33-yard line, which if they didn't get another yard would make it a 51-yard field goal, which is in the range of McPherson. Like George said before, he missed that field goal, but every kicker in the NFL these days has the distance to make a 51-yarder not really be an issue. So we're at the 2-minute warning. Cincinnati has 2nd and 8. The Chargers have 2 timeouts left. And quite frankly, George, they are going to try to preserve time for Justin Herbert and the Chargers, regardless of what Cincinnati does. I submit to you, George, that 30-30 overtime is well within the range of possibilities. I'm going to check that overtime bet right now. I told you last time it was at plus 310. The overtime bet right now is at plus 195. I actually think that's a decent bet at plus 195, George. I think this is going to be 30-30 going to overtime.
1 first down, your overtime's done. I think you should be getting more. 1 first down, you don't have a chance anymore. They can run the clock
because
out.
then
Just
Bengals run it, and we get the last
goal.
play of the game.
Right. So I think it should be more than 310. Personally, I think it should be, like I said, closer to 4-1 here. Although they are doing us a favor here, unless they did do us a favor.
Though, George. It's 3rd and 8.
Yeah, they threw the ball and didn't connect. That's dangerous there because now, boy, Chargers did not have to use a timeout there.
Now 30-30 is real live. If they
now losing is live.
Oh yeah,
You're getting,
absolutely.
If you don't make this, they're gonna have one time. Assuming there's some kind of completion here, they'll have one timeout left.
That should have been PI. That should have been PI,
yes,
George. He's all over Higgins. He spins him around there right now. Higgins looking for it as well. We're at 1:56 left to go. It is 3rd and 8 on the 33. 50-yard field goal is where we would be because it is an incomplete pass intended for Jamar Chase. 4th and 8. We are staring at a 50-yard field goal. And now that overtime bet is no longer on the board, George. They have taken it down because just like I've been saying, 30-30 is live. But if they miss this field goal, all of a sudden the Chargers would have the ball, with plenty of time, with a chance for them to kick a field goal and end this game. This is going to be on the foot of Evan McPherson, it looks like, for what is a 50-yard field goal when he just missed a 48-yarder. What do you say, George? Does he make the corrections he needs to put it through the uprights? Oh, he missed it.
No, he
George.
does not.
He missed
it again.
He
Same way.
missed it again.
Same way. He missed it again.
Oof,
Listen,
boy.
you can't blame Cincinnati. I said don't play for a field goal. They didn't. They threw the ball. All right, you threw the ball twice. Jamar Chase dropped one. T. Higgins was mugged on the other one. This is on McPherson now. Now you missed 2 field goals. Once again, he had plenty of distance, and he missed it the same exact way. He pulled it. He pulled it again. And this is why what would Mark Zinno say? All right, Mark, our boy Marco, kickers are the worst human beings on the planet, right? He hates them. He hates all kickers here. It's been all day today, right? Justin Tucker missed a couple.
That's true.
Santos for Chicago missed a game winner here. It was a chip shot game winner. He missed as well. Someone else had deflected at the buzzer.
That got deflected. I got deflected. So here's the deal,
he still missed it.
Fair. But let me tell you something. This is no fait accompli. The Chargers are still on their own 40-yard line. Nope. Incomplete pass, 2nd and 10. Okay, so the overtime, I told you the overtime was live at 30-30. The overtime is also live at 27-27. And it is 2nd and 10 here. Because here's the deal also. The Chargers can't go 3 and out. You can't give Cincinnati the ball back with about, a minute left to go. I kind of think, I think running the ball is live, George, if you want to know the truth. And now it's 3rd and 10. I would have ran the ball on 2nd and 10. I would have forced Cincinnati to call a timeout or run some clock because now you're staring at 3rd and 10. And if you don't complete this pass for a 4th down, you've got to give Joe Burrow the ball back with like a minute and a half, and McPherson could get another crack at it. And by the way, so could Jamar Chase. So we're staring at 3rd and 10. The Chargers need...
That should have been picked.
You're right. Second down play. 21 did cut underneath.
My God.
I got to tell you, George, the Chargers need another 2, 3 first downs, really, if you want to know the truth, to get into like real makeable field goal range here. It's now 3rd and 10. We've got a stop clock, an incomplete pass here, and it is an incomplete pass. It is an incomplete pass intended for your boy Palmer.
He dropped it?
Your boy Palmer did not come down with it. It is 4th and 10. They're on their own 41. They've got to punt it back to Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals here. Okay, so we're going to have about 120, 130 left on the clock.
He dropped
Joe
it.
Burrow.
He
did. Joe Burrow is going to get another chance. They have to punt the ball here. They're going to try to pin Cincinnati deep. Cincinnati still has 2 timeouts. Guess what, George? Evan McPherson's going to get another chance to win this game for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Oh, he misses it again. Then we have last week, got a couple of kickers missed 3 field goals apiece, right? What was it? Moody and I forget. Oh, Koo. Moody and Koo, they couldn't hit this week.
Now,
so
George,
maybe we'll get that again here.
Will the game go to overtime? Will the game go to overtime is now minus 230 for the yes over on FanDuel.
I don't think it does.
I got to tell you something. I bet the no at plus 170. I bet the no at plus 170. McPherson's going to hit a field goal to end this game, right?
They got 126 and 2 timeouts. They've got plenty of time. Plenty of time.
I got to tell you something. Right now, George, plus 170 that this game does not go to overtime. I think that's now the play. I think McPherson is going to kick a walk-off field goal to win this game. Plus 170. What do you say, George? You with me?
I knew I should have placed that. There's a flag on the play, so we'll see what's going on here. I think Cincinnati's going to win the game, assuming this is not against them. I guess we'll wait and see. Although it was thrown in the secondary, I got to assume it's against the Chargers. Anyone?
I saw a Joe Burrow run. I see a Joe Burrow run.
I think they picked up the flag.
So that's going to stand. Joe Burrow, 14-yard gain. They're on their own 30-yard line, and they don't even really need to, with the running clock here, I'm trying to get into field goal range.
This is a huge advantage to the Chargers, by the way, because if they picked up this flag, right, they don't start the clock till they spot the ball. This clock would have kept running the whole time without that flag. That's a huge mistake by the refs.
Correct. But I'm telling you right now, I like this incomplete intended for Chase. I like this no. I like this no overtime. Chase again. I know. Chase again. I like this no overtime, George. I like this no overtime. McPherson's going to get another chance to win this game.
So teasing. He's open too. He's open. My God. I've said before, I don't think it's going to go to overtime. He's open. Good throw.
They almost hit him
We're
over
home
the
on one
top,
of
which
those
would have put
bets.
him in field goal range. 2nd and 10 here on their own 30-yard line. Joe Burrow, by the way, 329 yards and 3 touchdowns. By the way, the other, and I never thought this had a chance. If you remember, George, the other pregame bet that I made was Cincinnati team total over 23.5. That one has now cashed. The Chase Brown over has cashed. The J.K. Dobbins under rushing yards, he's at 27. That one looks good. Remember, our guy George Kurtz gave out Joe Burrow over attempts. That one looks good. The Jamar Chase long catch over 24.5. That one has cash. If you are with us from the beginning of the game, you probably have hit 4 or 5 at least of the 6. We'll still see what happens with J.K. Dobbins, but the team total, the Chase is over. The Chase long catch is over. The Burrow over attempts is home free. It's only the Dobbins under, and we'll see if Gesicki can get in the mix as well. But if you've been with us here on In Game Live, it has been a profitable night, and the Cincinnati Bengals will be punting, giving Justin Herbert another chance here. Does anybody want to win this game? We'll find out when we come back here on In Game Live.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With 2 former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
We live in a society right now where everybody's a snowflake, everybody's a cupcake, and everybody thinks that nothing is fair. Everything is like, it's not fair. We should have a better chance. We need more. You know what? I'm old enough to remember when you needed to have a perfect goddamn record to win a college football championship. That's the way it was. 11-1, too bad.
Sports Rage tonight, only on Sports Grid.
Grandma Bear, who owns the football team, probably comes in, gives a little, oh, man, you're such a good little boy out there. Congratulations, the way you coach this football team. I'm never going to fire you.
Totally, I missed you pinching your own cheek as I was
that's what your
looking down
grandma
and did
does,
not know
right?
we were getting.
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there with that guy named Ben. Like, that's what your grandma would do to you when you go see her on Thanksgiving or Christmas,
The Early Line, only on Sports Grid.
Together, both Davante Adams and Garrett Wilson had huge nights. Aaron Rodgers loves the 2 big targets, and he says if this is going to happen, going to be very tough on the defense to decide who they want to go after.
Adams and this kid Wilson, I won't deny what they can do, but nobody else does jack.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on Sports Grid.
Welcome back in, everybody, here on In Game Live, Sunday Night Football style. Chargers and Bengals coming down to it. There is only 35 seconds left to go in this game. It is 2nd and 10. Justin Herbert hit McConkey for a nice chunk gain, but then he missed your boy Will Dissly, George, kind of trying to get to about
He didn't
midfield.
miss. It looked like this. They didn't catch the ball.
All right, well, whatever it is, we got there on their own side of the field here with only like 31 seconds left to go. The Chargers need, I would say, another 20 yards to be in field goal range here to give Cameron Dicker a real shot. And with only like 31 seconds left, but it's your boy McConkey.
Not my boy. Not my boy, McConkey.
Right. The non-your boy, McConkey. And that puts it on
Everybody
the
else.
Cincinnati
Everybody else.
9-yard line. So if they don't get another yard, we are staring at a 46-yard attempt from Dicker the kicker here with about 26 seconds left. They call timeout. The Cincinnati Bengals call timeout, in fact, leaving them with 1. And here's the deal. I'll say this. The best bet you probably could have made with us all day long was when at one point the Cincinnati Bengals were plus 15.5 on the live odds. That one is definitely getting home, but it does look like the Chargers will have a chance here on the leg of Dicker the kicker. They're on the Cincinnati Bengals 29-yard line. You got to think they're going to run the ball here a couple of times, and the last play of regulation will be a Dicker field goal attempt. Right, George?
I would assume, although once again, you're playing for a long field goal. Right now you're at 49, 50 yards here. But yes, that's probably how I would do it as well. What does Cincinnati have? Do they have any timeouts left? I can't even read.
They just called one, so I think they have one left.
So they have one left. You definitely run the ball here. You make them take that last timeout so you can gain a couple of yards. I guess on third down, you could throw a quick out. Even if you completed it inbounds, you'd still have time. You'd be okay here. But they do run the ball here, which we knew was coming. Oh, it may not matter. It does not matter.
No?
And I don't think you're going to be happy about this either.
Dobbins can't get over. Because, listen, they're on the 29-yard line, and Dobbins is at 27 for the game. So even a full 29 out of Dobbins gets him 1 yard short of the number. It is Dobbins up the middle, and he does get all the way home. And so J.K. Dobbins, it looks like, on the last play of the game for a 29-yard touchdown. And, George, J.K. Dobbins finishes with 56 yards on the ground when the number going into this game was 57.5. So he goes under. So to recap, the J.K. Dobbins under hits. The Chase Brown over hits. The Cincinnati team total over hits. The Jamar Chase long reception over hits. The Joe Burrow attempts over hits. George, we go 5 of 6 out of our pregame props.
Yeah, no complaints. Like I said, I would have liked to hit some of the late in games. Those are smaller bets, so I'm certainly not crying too much. Only bet we didn't hit really was the Jamar Chase, right? The in game for his total just didn't happen for us. There were chances. He had chances. Like I said, he was wide open the one time. Another time he was Burrow just didn't see him running down the other sidelines there. So it is what it is. We'll take it. It's a profitable night. Not complaining here. And by the way, if you had Dobbins anytime touchdown, go say a Hail Mary, maybe a couple of Alfalvas, and you might want to play the lottery tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. You could do the entire rosary. I will say this, though. There is 18 seconds left. And we have seen crazier things happen. Jamar Chase and T. Higgins are people who are capable of this. Now, I don't think in any way on God's green earth should the Cincinnati Bengals be able to get all the way down the field and tie this one up. But they will get a kickoff. They will get the ball. They do have one timeout left. So here's the thing, George. And since the Chargers are going to be playing very, very far back here, right? So I'm going to tell you the truth. The idea of Jamar Chase catching a 25-yard pass here is possible.
It's possible. And they got 2 timeouts, right? Cincinnati won. They've got one timeout, so they can go through the middle. They can go to the middle of the field as well here.
I mean, it is a touchback.
It's not out of the realm of possibility here.
The idea that they hit Jamar Chase underneath for like 25 yards here, because the Chargers will let that happen. The Chargers will absolutely let that happen.
Cincinnati's probably going to play for about a 25-yard play and then the Hail Mary.
Right.
That's probably what they're going for here.
Exactly.
So we need to be Chase and not Higgins.
If they go to Jamar Chase, it is very possible that they go ahead and hit Chase for about 25, 30 yards here. So we'll see. Oh, George is looking. George is looking. What do we got here, George?
No, it's a sample, I think it was, one of a tight end. So they did get the play, though. I mean, they got about – I don't think it was 25 anyway, so I don't think we'd have cashed anyway, but it does put them in Hail Mary range. So,
they are in Hail Mary range. It was Joseph.
Hit the Hail Mary.
It was 27 yards.
Hail Mary to Chase.
It was 27 yards, George. So that would have, if it was Chase, would have been exactly what we needed. We are now with 10 seconds left. The Bengals have called timeout. We are on the 43-yard line, so we'll see. Can Jamar Chase catch a Hail Mary? Can Jamar Chase get underneath and be the first part of a lateral play where he, something like that? We'll see. That's what winds up will happen.
They won't do a lateral. They don't need to. They won't do a lateral.
They're going to throw to the end zone. They're going to throw to the end zone.
All right.
Can Jamar Chase catch a Hail Mary? Well, to be
You
quite
could
frankly,
do a 15-yard out.
George, can anybody catch a Hail Mary? Because if they catch a Hail Mary, we go to overtime.
Right, I'll take
And
anyone.
then all of a sudden, it's live.
My Charger bets, I'll take a Hail Mary, right? Maybe I get back in the those bets as well here. So I'll take a Hail Mary from anyone.
What we also have seen here is we've got 61 as the total on this game right now. George is going to let us know before I know, but we've got, incomplete intended for Jamar Chase is what I see.
Teasing. That's all they're doing is teasing. Every time, teasing here. Well, we got one final play here. And it looks like Chase had a chance at it. He was like quadruple covered, which is somewhat surprising because it was before the end zone, about the 15-yard line here. But he had a small chance to catch that. Listen, just teasing us. This has been the Jamar Chase.
That would have been enough. That would have been enough. And so we'll see what they do here. There's going to be a Hail Mary. Unfortunately, we have to go to a commercial break. So we'll see what happens here. But it's going to be Joe Burrow with a final heave. And we will see if Cincinnati can have their prayers answered. We've seen it in the NFL already so far this season with the Commanders and the Bears. We will find out. We've got to go to break. So we'll see. But this has been a hell of a game here for us, George. It's been great to see you yet again on In Game Live.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
We live in a society right now where everybody's a snowflake, everybody's a cupcake, and everybody thinks that nothing is fair. Everything is like, it's not fair. We should have a better chance. We need more. You know what? I'm old enough to remember when you needed to have a perfect goddamn record to win a college football championship. That's the way it was. 11-1, too bad.
Sports Rage tonight, only on Sports Grid.
Grandma Bear, who owns the football team, probably comes in, gives a little, oh, hey, you're such a good little boy out there. Congratulations, the way you coach this football team. I'm never going to fire you.
Totally, I missed you. Pinching your own cheek? Because I was looking down and did not know we were getting...
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there with that guy named Ben. Like, that's what your grandma would do to you when you go see her on Thanksgiving or Christmas,
The Early Line, only on Sports Grid.
Together, both Davante Adams and Garrett Wilson had huge nights. Aaron Rodgers loves the two big targets, and he says if this is going to happen, going to be very tough on the defense to decide who they want to go after.
Adams and this kid, Wilson, I won't deny what they can do, but nobody else does jack.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on Sports Grid.
Welcome into Pro Football Today. It's time for the post-game show, finally, with Casey Hudson and Tom Vecchio. And let's just say, Chargers were able to continue to hold off to pull off the W. Or I don't even know if hold off is the correct terminology because it went toe-to-toe there for a minute. That stalemate did not get broken until the final seconds of this final quarter. So, Tom, biggest takeaways from this matchup is the Chargers come out on top, posting 34 points and mega yardage between both of these quarterbacks.
I would say the takeaway from this game is, same old, ultimately for the Bengals, where Joe Burrow has to do everything and their defense is absolutely abysmal, where they literally cannot center. And credit to them for the majority of the second half, their defense actually looked good, and that's what allowed the Bengals to come back. Chargers, I think they're still a good team and they're on the path to make the playoffs, but they got to kind of, I would say, figure things out a little bit on offense because they didn't really get the run game going today. And then that's where we saw their offense struggle in the second, or I should say, especially in the second half. That's where they didn't get things going. And, Herbert has been super solid this year. He's taking care of the ball. He's not throwing interceptions, but they still need to have some of that consistency after they have this momentum from the first half. So really good stuff from the Chargers. It's big for them for their playoff odds, especially picking up this win, especially with the Ravens losing, the Chiefs losing. Obviously, fully expect those teams to make it, but just their seeding potential is in a very good spot.
Yeah, that was about to be where I was pivoting next because heading into this matchup, they were sitting at a 91% of seeing the postseason, which is fantastic considering the number of injuries and the number of question marks heading into this. They did also come into this matchup with 6 wins, and we're seeing Herbert play in that confident role yet again. I mean, between the rushing yards that he had on top of 297 passing yards, what can you say about this Chargers team and what their potential postseason could look like with the other AFC losses?
I would say what their postseason looks like starts next week because they play the Ravens next week. And again, the Ravens lost today. It's the Harborough Bowl next week between the two brothers in coaching. But that's a huge game for seeding because if the Ravens pick another loss, they'll be 7-5, I believe. And the head-to-head matchup would obviously be in favor of the Chargers at that point. We're talking about home field. We're talking about seeding. We're talking about, this, that, and the other thing. So their postseason, I want to say they got to take it week by week now. They can't be looking too far ahead of what's down the line. They need this team to lose, that team to lose. No, they got to take care of business next week with the Ravens, which is absolutely going to be probably the game of the week, but it's also going to be a very, very tough matchup. The Ravens coming off this loss, they're going to come out firing, especially if we have seen the deficiencies in some aspects of the Chargers defense. We got to expect that the Ravens and their offense can also put up close to 30 points. So next week has to be a kind of lockdown game from the Chargers overall.
Yeah, and I wonder if they can get back because heading into this 13.1 points is the average that this defense was sitting in. So depending on what momentum they can carry from this game, minus the amount of points that they let up, 27 more specifically, then they could put a stoppage to the Ravens next week. You're so good with talking about the angles when it comes to the player prop bets, the weapons that help the Chargers pull off these 34 points today. You're looking at McConkey, who got shaken up earlier in the first half of the game. His shoulder was going to be crazy. Disley, a tight end whose hand is always in the dirt, never involved in much of the passing game. And then you have Johnston, who a number of people were on top of for picking up a couple tutties today, and he did just that. So what are your thoughts on the weapons that help bring this victory home for the Chargers?
I would say it's good stuff, and partly what we're seeing, especially from a rookie with McConkey, is there are going to be times where he has a little bit slower games, but it's good to see these other players get involved with Disley, being a little bit more involved in the passing game over the past few weeks with Quentin Johnston. Looking ahead to next week, J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, they have to play a bigger role versus the Ravens. They're also both going up against their former team in the Ravens. So wouldn't be surprised to see, especially Disley and McConkey. I'm not going to be expecting Ladd McConkey to go for 100-plus yards and Will Disley to be at 80. If Will Disley ends around 30 to 40 yards, I think that's more realistic, especially if we do see their running game. That's where Harbaugh wants to commit to. So Dobbins and Edwards both going up against their former team next week. Plus, I would say just – we're at the upper end of production for Ladd McConkey. 100-plus yards is just way, way too much. So kind of see him fall back down to earth a little bit and see their rushing game pick up. I expect Herbert to have to continue to use his legs if the Ravens do bring that pressure. So I haven't looked at – I don't think I've ever bet on Herbert rushing props ever before, but we might have to start looking at that.
I would say so. He was really quick to hit the hightail is how the old folks would say it. My mom's like, he's hightailing it out there. And I was like, this is embarrassing. But I did tweet it. So I, too, am embarrassing, Mom. McConkey, would you maybe look at him for a longest reception for next week? Because he picked up some key ones today.
That's a good call. We'll have to dig into his average plus what the Ravens allow. But we know the Ravens secondary is bad. So that might be a really good spot.
All right, something to keep an eye on. But more importantly, Tom, me, Adam Kaufman, Dave Sherfan, you know the deal. Monday Night Football, Pro Football Today, the pregame show going down tomorrow. So we'll keep you updated on all NFL coverage here on Sports Grid TV.